Hi, I'm Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal. Today I am talking about timelines. What are timelines and how can they help you? So I've been getting a lot of questions about timelines. And as you may or may not know, if you are familiar with my TAG Lightworker membership, we talk a lot about timelines and we bring in a lot of light beings who are always talking about timelines to try and help us live our best life. And if you've seen some of those masterclasses on this channel, you may have seen me trans channeling beings of light who are talking about timelines and how we can really get into the best timeline. For instance, the Anshar video from February of this year. And we're working with timelines again this month with the Syrians in my TAG Lightworkers membership. But what are they? So timelines are really based on the theory that I fully believe in, which is that every time you make a decision, you sort of splitting off into different parallel lives. So what that means is that in this reality, I decided not to make this video and go to the park. And so there's a split off where there's another reality where I said, I'm not going to make this video today, and I did something else. And so these two are very similar lives, just where I made different decisions. Now that makes you think, how many timelines are there? Well, there could be so many, but I also believe, and where do I get my beliefs? For me, is mainly from channeling beings of light. Beings of light that I know are from the light, don't worry. They tell me all kinds of things, and many of them tell me the same thing. So a lot of what I know and understand comes from being a channel, talking to these beings, and talking to others who channel beings of light, because I also teach all of this mediumship. And so I get a lot of the same thing again and again. And so obviously I begin to believe that this is really a thing. And what they show me is that these timelines or these parallel lives, a lot of them come around to the same. So a few weeks ago, I did this psychic development retreat with the Fae in the Smoky Mountains. And we did a lot of work on timelines, and we did a lot of work with the Fae, just deeply connecting to them and getting a lot of information of how we can live our best life. Because isn't that what we're all trying to manifest, is our best life? So one thing that they really made clear is that it doesn't really matter which timeline or which decision you make. It's either fast or slow. So you're either going to get to what you're trying to manifest fast, or you're going to get there slow. So in some decisions or things that you're doing in some of these parallel lives, you're getting to your goals and you're manifesting health and, higher vibration for yourself and becoming closer to your ascension journey. And in some timelines, you're not getting there as fast. So that's like the difference of the timelines. You make all these decisions, and in some of them, that makes it come really fast, and some of them, they come really slow. And there's also this whole thing where, like, we're making a lot of the same decisions. The reason I'm calling them parallel lives or alternate lives is that the parallel about them is very similar, because maybe in this scenario where I made the video today, instead I went to the park. In that scenario, I made this video tomorrow. And so it got done. So some of these things, we still come around to the concepts we're learning, or the things we're trying to do, or the things that we are destined to do, our soul contracts or anything like that. They do actually come around. So they can be quite similar, some of these timelines or alternate lives, because we're still us trying to do the same thing. Now, some of them are totally different, because just imagine you didn't go to that college, or you didn't do that major, or you didn't do that work, or you never learned this skill that you base your life on now. You could have a totally different life. I probably have a parallel life where I'm a chocolatier, or where I'm still singing opera, or I'm still teaching voice. I mean, it could be. And there could be one where I'm doing something totally different that I couldn't even imagine. And in fact, I bet there's an alternate me out there who thinks, I'm a psychic? What? I teach people mediumship? Like, what is going on? I trance channel beings. That me is probably thinking this me never could possibly exist. So, alternate life. So this is what we're talking about in timelines. And what we want is to have the highest timeline, the best timeline, the timeline where we manifest what we're trying to manifest, where we clear and heal in the way that we want to, where we up level and bring our vibration up to its highest point as fast as possible so that we're not dealing so much with all the gunk and the deep heaviness of the 3D so much, but we're feeling enlightened and happy and joyful. We've released our shadow work, the most of it, the most painful of it, or we have less to, because we're still here. So we'll still have things to work on, but we're on the best timeline. We've met our challenges with well, what does this mean? What do I need to do? What is spirit trying to tell me? And not complete defeat, giving up, feeling like the world's against us. Those are two different ways of looking at things. And the more enlightened way is always to say, why is this happening? What can I do to shift it? What is the universe or what is spirit trying to tell me about this that's happening, this shadow work that is coming up? What is the reason so that I can get through to the other side? Because we are all getting bombarded with all of the shadow work right now. That is where we're at Ascension right now. So we need to learn how to get through it and go on the other side. So, of course, we're looking for that timeline where we're less triggered, where we are just owning our stuff and doing our work and really being positive, working through our shadow work, but not letting it overtake us, that sort of thing. That's where we're trying to find the very best decisions or the very best outlook on life. And then in that place, of course, we're manifesting what we speak into the world, what we're bringing into the world. And that means that the timeline is a beautiful one where we're manifesting beautiful things. We're going with the flow. We're facing our journey and working through our problems with ease and always finding the reason why and working well. So you see, this is why finding the highest timeline is awesome. Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? The Mandela effect is when hundreds or thousands of people remember something specifically one way that is not that way now, and they can find no evidence of it. And they all remember it, usually connected to another memory, so they're sure that they're remembering it correctly. One of those things can be like the banker on Monopoly and how he has a monocle. Well, you can't find that now. If you go back and look, there is no monocle. He doesn't have one, and it's not anything you can find. You could go into your attic and bring out that Monopoly game from the 70s and pull it out, and you won't even see it. And you'll be just flummoxed by that. You can look up on YouTube. There's so many of them. And some people believe it's just a mass misremembering. And it's possible that some of those things are, but I think that they're timelines. So our timelines are shifting. They're not always the same. They are interwoven. The way that I see them and the way that I've been told from other light beings is how they're interwoven. And one thing that I always see in my psychic sessions where I'm working on people with psychic healing, I see these other timelines that have collapsed. And those collapsed timelines have to bring in that alternate you into this timeline. And sometimes I think that you will find yourselves in a timeline where things are different than you remember it. And that's what I truly believe the Mandela effect is. It is a remembering of a timeline that you are not in anymore. Now, can you go to a higher timeline? Can you go to a lower timeline? What can I do? Yes, you can go to a higher timeline. This is one of the things that we are always working on in TAG. So in TAG, we work a lot with timelines because it is the easiest way to get on the fastest path to everything you want, like I was saying before. So in these higher timelines, how do we connect to them? Many times beings can help us connect to them with an attunement or with a release of some heavy density, and also with advice on how to find them. And really, the best advice is what I was saying earlier. We just need to really work on ourselves, release heavy density, learn to work with shadow work in a way that doesn't hurt us by making it like a full-time, all-encompassing, depressing life. We want to be able to look at our shadow, meaning all the trauma and things that we have to work through it, and get on with our life. So dedicate some time to it every day, even if it's only 10, 20 minutes, doing some techniques that help release it, working on it in every way that we can, maybe doing EMDR, maybe doing EFT, or just any kind of spiritual work and mental work to get through it. But then to go back to our life and release it and get on with joy. Of course, I give you all of that on my blog, at soundwavesheal.com/shadow-work. And that is a great blog post for you to read that can help you with that. So the more that you're doing all of those things, the more you can easily flip to a higher timeline, and you can spiritually get onto a higher timeline. I've done it in sessions with other light workers. I've done it for my clients, and you can do it too. You can do it with your own psychic work. You can do it with a light worker who works with this in psychic sessions. And yes, you can attune to a higher timeline. You can do it in TAG, because we do work on that in TAG, and we're working on it again this month in May. So timelines are the key. And that's why I'm just so happy to talk to you about them today. So if you have questions, I want you to put them in the comments so that I can answer them and help you with them. So that begs the question, what about a lower timeline? Could we get stuck on a lower timeline? Yes, you can. But it's not that big of a deal. You know what? We're human and we slip sometimes, and that is perfectly fine. We are not perfect. We are not ascended. No one here still on this earth is really ascended. Even in the personal journey of ascension, we're not quite there yet. We will be, but we're not quite there yet as of today when I'm recording this, 2023. But we are getting there step by step. And the way to get there faster is to go on a higher timeline. If you find yourself in a lower timeline, look around. This is not a good timeline. I need to get out of here. So what are you going to do? You're going to raise your vibration. You're going to work on the heavy things that are keeping you from bringing your vibration high. So I'm not saying just forget about all that bad stuff. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is work on your shadow work and release it so that you can experience more joy. And watch what you say. Why do we work so much on manifestation? Because you are a great manifester. Yes, everything that you have in your life right now is a product of what you say and what you do, and what you believe and what you think you are worthy of achieving. And that is why we have to work on self-worth. We have to look at these things and work on them, because everything that you have or don't have is being manifested by you, by your beliefs, and by your imprint of what's happened to you, your trauma, your reaction to your trauma, your unhealed trauma, which we all have. We all have it. And so in order to manifest something greater, we have to get past all this. We have to enlighten ourselves. And so that's what we do. And on this journey, what I think is really helpful, honestly, is doing it with a community, doing it with a group. That's what we do in TAG. We work on all these things together. And of course, it's got a huge library of learning, of attunement, connecting, psychic healing, help, opening clairs, all those things. But the main thing is that we are working on these concepts, and you should work on them too. You don't need to join TAG to do that if you want to do it by yourself. But if you want help, we'd love to do it with you together. So let's talk about Project Looking Glass for just a moment. If you want to go do a deep dive on this, you can. I don't want to say too much on my page because I like having my page. So there is a cool video about it that is in my Facebook group, Ascension 5D Daily. It's pinned, and it really talks about what I've talked about here about collapsing timelines, going towards only one timeline. That's what we're doing in Ascension, is we're going towards one timeline. That timeline is Ascension. I've said Ascension several times, and I'm assuming that most of you know what Ascension is, but I'm just, for anyone who feels like they don't really understand what Ascension is, I have videos and blog posts on it. But basically, it is what's happening here. The world is changing. You are changing, and we are all going towards a higher dimensional frequency, a higher vibration, enlightenment. And those of us who are on this journey, we will split off from a timeline which will not reach Ascension, and that timeline will go on its way to a more destructive ending. And our timeline of Ascension will not. It will go towards better things. And so which timeline are you on? Which timeline are you working on? Well, if you're working on yourself, if you're working on Ascension, if you're working on your light path, why you are here and what you've come here to do, which is always something that lights you up, makes you happy, and also helps others, then you're on the right path. And we're all working on it. I mean, you're watching this video, so I assume you're on your light path and you're going towards Ascension. And it's a personal journey. There's no one going to step up and going to save you and take you there. I mean, even if ETs are going to show up and help us, they're going to help us after we've done our work. And they're helping us now in the psychic realm, in the higher dimensional frequencies. If you can reach those frequencies, if you can psychically speak to them, get messages from them, then you can really get a lot of information. I can always help you do that. That's what we do in TAG. That's the main purpose of TAG, to learn about all these beings, elemental, angelic, and so on, galactic, all those who are helping us to get to Ascension, to transform our lives. And so I also teach psychic healing and I teach psychic mediumship. And this is our birthright. Psychic senses are our birthright. That is what you should be working on opening. That's part of Ascension. And another part of Ascension is just understanding that this is a journey that we're on as a human being, but our soul is multidimensional, multifaceted, and contains many, many past lives. And all that information is actually there if you can learn how to grab it. And how do you grab it? Well, by opening your psychic senses in meditation, things like that, learning to bring your vibration in a way that helps you receive information. So if you'd like help with that, I'd love to help you. The 3 ways that I help are personal sessions, which can include mentorship, membership in my TAG Lightworkers community, and courses and retreats where I can teach you and attune you to all kinds of concepts, beings, and higher timelines and things like that. So I'd love to help you if you'd like to reach out. I have a free discovery call. It's 15 minutes if you'd like to chat face to face and talk about what would be the best course for you, which way to go, what could help you the most out of everything that I offer. And if you have questions about anything, about timelines, or all of what I talk about on this channel, please put them in the comments and I'd love to answer them for you as well. And I'd love to see you in my Facebook group. If you'd like to join, it's Ascension 5D Daily. Thank you so much and have a great day.